Namaste everyone. Welcome to our 14th day of the 28th Annual World Yoga Festival and the 7th International Day of Yoga celebrations. Today we have some great beings on earth. They spend their time for the yoga for decades. The first speaker is Acharya Emi Blasio Mahamandaleshwar Gayatri Deviji. She is the president of the World Community of Indian Culture and executive member from the European Yoga Federation. And she has few other organizations. She is going to explain what are their activities, how she went through her life in a yogic path, spiritual path, and why she likes Hinduism or Indian culture. And even though she's from Italy, she's my long-time friend. Here I like to open the floor for Srimati Emi Blasio Gayatri Deviji. Floor is for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See, a lot of time we know we stay also in India together. Ok, il mio primo contatto con l'India l'ho avuto quando ero molto giovane perché mio padre era un appassionato di libri sull'India e quindi io nella soffitta andavo a leggere questi libri.
And my first contact with India is dated back for a long time, since I was a child, as my father used to be a very much passionate, very much lover of the Indian culture, and I used to go up on the upper floor to read his books.
E devo dire che questi libri mi hanno aiutato molto nella mia infanzia, perché mi faceva vedere le cose migliori, anche se non c'era nulla in quel periodo, ma io vedevo tutte cose positive.
And all these books, they helped me to go through a very positive time since my childhood. Even though at that time there were no much of positive events, but through those books, I managed to have a very good time.
Sapevo tirare fuori il bello anche dalle cose negative. Trovavo sempre qualcosa di bello da godere, la bellezza dei fiori, la bellezza degli animaletti, tutto così.
And I was able to look to a very positive way whatever was around me. I was looking in a very open-minded to flowers, small animal, insects, and so on.
In effetti non è che sono entrata nello yoga fisico, ma siccome tutto è yoga, perché tutto quello che facciamo è yoga, è unione con la parte più spirituale di noi stessi.
And I have to say that my first contact then was not through the physical yoga, but was with the yoga, as everything in life is yoga. Yoga as a union with our deep and spiritual part.
E questo mi ha insegnato queste letture, ma non solo le letture, ma anche la vita stessa. Io ho preso questo dalla natura soprattutto.
And I was learning through this book, but not only that, through the nature. I learned a lot through the nature.
Ho conosciuto lo yoga, proprio lo yoga fisico, quando io ero anche pittrice in un tempo, quindi avevo fatto una mostra d'arte e sono andati venduti tutti i pezzi, ma poi quando sono arrivata avevano speso tutto per la libreria che era questa mostra E allora ho preso dei libri in cambio del guadagno della mostra, e c'era un piccolo libro che avevo preso tutti i dizionari, e poi c'era fra questi un libro che era scritto da Yesudian di Losanna, che era un indiano, però abitava a Losanna, in Svizzera.
I got in touch with the physical part of yoga when I was a young girl, not as a child. And I got in touch because when I was a young girl, I used to be a painter and artist. And at that time, in one of the exhibition, all my paintings, they got sold. And a bookshop bought a painter of mine, and he didn't have the money. So he wanted to pay me back with books. I took all dictionaries I was fond of, and then through all the except from the dictionary, I took another book out of written by Yesudian, who used to live in Lausanne.
He was a sport yoga, non era molto profondo, però mi ha aperto una piccola porta e ho cominciato a seguire dei grandi eventi in Svizzera, in Italia, in Francia.
And this book was Sport and Yoga, even though it was not a very deep, profound subject, but it opened a gate in me. And I started to follow many of his festivals, meetings all around Switzerland, where he used to live.
France, also in Italy. E io ho trovato in questi eventi dei personaggi molto importanti. Allora in Italia non c'era molto yoga, non c'era niente proprio di yoga, quindi eravamo noi che andavamo a cercare lo yoga da altre parti.
And thanks to these events, I managed to meet very important people. At that time in Italy, there was not much of yoga, and we used to go around and look for teachers, for good teachers.
E ho incontrato Chidananda, Satyananda, Satchidananda e Muttananda, e c'era anche un francese che mi piaceva molto, che era Gerard Blitz. Gerard Blitz era lui che organizzava tutti questi eventi, e io li ho seguiti tutti perché mi trovavo proprio in casa mia, ecco, quando ero in questi eventi.
And thanks to these events, various events, I got in touch and I managed to meet very important masters like Swami Chidanandaji, Swami Satyanandaji, Swami Satchidanandaji, and also I get to meet Gerard Blitz. He was the organizer of all these meetings. And I was so much fond of him and of all his organization that I was following him everywhere. It was just like to go back home, to be back home.
Un'altra porta è stata aperta da Muktananda.
Another gate, another door was opened by Swami Muktananda.
E lui mi ha fatto vedere le possibilità della mente, non la mente fisica, non il cervello, ma la mente, quella più profonda.
And thanks to him, I managed to get in touch with the mind, not the low mind, not the general mind, but the high mind.
E ho proseguito nella mia ricerca per 20 anni, fino a che è arrivata la mia bambina, mia figlia, Surya. Ho dato il nome Surya.
And I carry on through my research for over 20 years till my young daughter was born. I gave her the name of Surya.
My friend Dileepji, she knew her in Romania.
Right.
You remember?
Her picture is in the behind you, right? You
She is. It's no picture. It's a painting. I painting her. This is a light and dark. The title.
dancer in Bharatanatyam.
E quando è arrivata mia figlia, ho visto, si è allargato ancora un po' di più diciamo il ventaglio di questo, della mia conoscenza nello yoga.
And when my daughter was born, the knowledge of this discipline became even wider.
E ho capito come era molto importante cominciare a insegnare yoga alla mia bambina, non immettendo, ma cercando di far uscire da lei le cose che aveva già dentro.
And I realized how much important was to teach my daughter yoga, not just as information to put inside her, but to manage her to take out all her knowledge, all her possibilities.
Fino a quei 20 anni lì ho lavorato solo su me stessa, ma quando è arrivata mia figlia ho capito che dovevo uscire a portare qualche cosa che avevo capito io dentro di me, anche ad altri, e ho cominciato con mia figlia.
For the first 20 years, all the study was just for myself. After my child was born, I realized that I had to start to take out whatever I learned to others. And so I started from my daughter.
Non pensavo di essere preparata per insegnare, sono sempre stata molto attenta nel portare qualcosa che avevo dentro di me agli altri, però ho notato che iniziando ad allargarmi a mia figlia, poi più grande, poi alle persone adulte, eccetera, ho capito che si poteva anche dare qualcosa agli altri, che non era orgoglio, non era presunzione, ma era amore.
And after then, these 20 years of learning, I start to realize that I had to give to others, starting with my daughter and then with the other more adults around me. I realized that giving all this information was not just out of pride or being arrogant, but was an act of love to give.
E ho visto che era apprendere anche, oltre che quando insegnavo apprendevo anche. Cioè era un dare e ricevere.
And it was not just giving out information. I was so much learning at that time as well. So you learn out of people, and it is just like to give and receive contemporary at the same time.
E ho visto che comunque lo yoga non si fa, ma si è.
And I realized that you do not do yoga, you are yoga.
Questo è una cosa che è importante comprendere, perché non si può fare yoga, ma bisogna entrare dentro nello yoga, essere lo yoga.
And this is very important point. We should realize that we do not do yoga. We are yoga. We are part of it.
E questo mi ha fatto capire che ogni momento della vita, il bambino, l'adolescente, la persona adulta, il vecchio, diciamo, la vecchiaia, ha la possibilità di avere un suo tipo di yoga, perché è come un ritagliare un abito su misura. E lo yoga è proprio, sì, è molto duttile e aiuta molto tutte le fasce di età.
And I start to realize that at any age, this age can be when you are young, when you are adolescent, when you are a younger adult or elderly age. At any age group, you can do a different yoga mold to a different group age. It's just like a cloth that it can be dressed on you directly, can be tailored on you directly.
Ed è questa la bellezza dello yoga, che non è rigido, non è, non è dogmatico, ma è vissuto.
And this is the beauty of yoga. Yoga is not something rigid. It's not something dogmatic, but it's something that is becoming.
Yoga is life. So I think it's very important to understand this. Ogni gesto che fai della tua vita, ogni pensiero, ogni modo di comportarsi deve essere dentro in questa meravigliosa disciplina che è lo yoga.
So every gesture, every thought, every way of doing, acting has to be part of it. The yoga is to be part of it.
Non è importante che tu ti metta sul un dito e stai in equilibrio su un dito o metti i piedi sulla testa. No, questo magari anche, perché no, può andare bene, ma yoga va al di là di queste cose. Yoga prende l'essere umano globalmente.
It is not important to stand on one finger or to put your foot on top of your head. This is not the main part of it. It can be interesting, but yoga is much more than that. Yoga is beyond all that. It's a global, something global, overwhelming.
Ovviamente l'entusiasmo quando si inizia a fare yoga c'è. Poi succedono anche dei momenti di disillusione, perché ci sono delle cadute emozionali.
So obviously at the beginning when you start, you get so much emotional and you want to do many things. And then all of a sudden you start to realize and you can go down and have a little, you can fall out of your emotion.
Ma in effetti si deve comprendere anche il senso di queste cose. Per esempio, ero in un congresso e una signora mi ha detto che era molto delusa dallo yoga.
And even though then you pass time when you are deluded, but you must realize the sense out of it. For instance, once in a meeting, a lady came to me and she was very much disappointed on how things were going.
He said yoga is not good because I find people very, very bad that teach yoga, they do yoga not in a good manner. Sì. E quindi ho detto, guarda, ti racconto un aneddoto.
So I told her, I'll tell you an incident.
Stavo andando in montagna e ho visto che c'era un montanaro che stava smielando, cioè togliendo il miele dalle arnie.
Okay. I was going on a mountain and I met a peasant who was taking the honey out of the honey.
E siccome in famiglia avevo persone che soffrivano mal di gola, raffreddore, allora ho detto prendo un vasetto di miele.
And as in my family, I had people suffering out of sore throat. So I decided to buy a pot, a honey pot.
E andai da questa persona e gli dissi dammi il miele e lui voleva un vasetto piccolo, ma aveva uno da 1 chilo.
And I went to this person and I asked him, please, I would like to buy a small pot of honey. But he had just a kilo big pot of honey.
So I told him, no, because we don't use so much honey. E allora ho detto, lui mi ha detto, puoi dividerlo in tanti vasetti e ben sigillati, così almeno poi li puoi usare una volta, possono durare anche 10 anni.
And it said to me, replied to me, oh, well, you can separate this big honey into small pots of honey. You close it very tight, and then you can use it whenever you need them. They can last up to 10 years.
Allora ho comprato questo vaso di miele grande, mentre stavo uscendo dalla porta, lui mi ha detto, stai attenta che i vasetti devono essere belli puliti, altrimenti anche il miele più puro nel vaso sporco va a male.
And so I bought the honey, the big pot of honey, and just coming out of the place, this gentleman called me up again and said, listen, be very careful and use just very clean small pots to separate this big honey, because even the purest honey, if you put inside a dirty pot, it will get ruined.
So it was like a flash. È stato proprio un colpo di fulmine, come dire, e ho detto, ah, ecco, non è lo yoga che è sporco, è il contenitore dello yoga. Sono le persone che non sono buone, ma il miele è puro.
I got struck out of this information, and all of a sudden I realized it is not yoga that is not good. Are the person who are the small pots, like the small pots of honey, that they are not good enough.
So the yoga is pure, but the people that contain yoga is not pure. So make dirty also yoga. Esto is, I taught to my daughter, and I tell also the other person. This person crying and embrace me for that. Because I dice, continuo lo yoga, perché ho capito che non era lo yoga quella roba sporca, ma era il contenitore.
So the lady at that conference was disappointed by yoga, embraced Amy Belesio and said, "Thank you very much. I will carry on doing yoga because now I realize that it's not yoga that is not good enough. It's just me that has to improve and get ready for yoga."
This is a normal thing. Now, me too, I'm in full in yoga. But it's not only physical, but it's yoga, physical, psychical, and spiritual.
That is a good example for a person from Italy starting yoga practice and bringing yoga to your neighborhood and promoting all the yoga associations through your activities, working for different groups, and going through the struggle with your own community as a different religious person. Yeah. So how was your family members when they saw you are going to this Indian culture or a Hindu culture? How they feel about it?
Ti traduco, Amy? Ok, lui è molto impressionato dal fatto che quindi tu porti lo yoga in Italia, a tutti i gruppi che sono vicini a te, anche fuori. Tu, essendo da una cultura italiana, proveniente quindi da una cultura diversa, cosa ha pensato la tua famiglia quando ti sei approcciato a una cultura così distante da quella italiana e anche di un background induista, per esempio?
Sì, però io ho spiegato alla mia famiglia che tutto è uno, quindi anche le linee sono solamente delle scelte che ti confanno, no? Ma in effetti alla fin fine il due diventa sempre uno.
She explained to her family that everything is just one. And all the lines are part of that one. And the lines are just choices. And so they all become one. No separation.
Diciamo che già la mia famiglia non aveva di queste remore perché mia madre era molto attaccata al cattolicesimo, mio padre no, però non ha mai detto a mia madre non andare in chiesa. Quindi eravamo abbastanza liberi nella scelta. Poi mi diceva fai quello che dice la mamma o fai quello che dice papà, però eravamo abbastanza lasciati liberi nelle nostre scelte.
Her family was still very much open-minded. And for instance, her mother was a very strict Catholic woman, but her father was not. And still, they were free to choose one way or the other, not forcing them to choose one way or the other, even though, of course, the teachings that used to be followed by a family, but not, they were still left free to choose their own way to express themselves.
Io mi sono approcciata a molte linee spirituali. Dalla cattolica sono passata al cristianesimo, poi i sufi, insomma ho passato un po' buddismo, zen, ma ho trovato la cosa secondo me più adatta a me nel Sanatana Dharma. Quindi mi trovo lì adesso.
And during my life, I went through different lineage, different paths that they were going from Catholics, then to Christian path, then to Sufi, Buddhism, Zen, and then finally I managed to get in touch to Sanatana Dharma. That's where I am now, and that's what I feel comfortable in.
Sanatana Dharma è come una piattaforma, i fondamenti che si fanno per fare una casa, no? E io lo ritengo proprio quella piattaforma. Poi sopra questo, sopra il Sanatana Dharma, tu puoi costruire una casa, una chiesa, un tempio o anche un lupanare, se vuoi. Dipende poi da te costruirci su qualche cosa di diverso.
Sanatana Dharma, I think it's just like a base, a fundament, are the roots. And then it depends what you build on that fundaments. Out of these fundaments, you can build up a house, a church,
Supermarket. Supermarket.
A supermarket or anything really.
Temples. Anything. But it's you that build this. But the basic is the Sanatana Dharma for all the religion.
Then I remember your daughter studied at the Kalashetra in Tamil Nadu, Madras. I visited her once, I remember.
Yes, yes.
And in our circle from the 2000 time, you know, our circle, I think you are the person more with the art as a painter, you know. So how you feel about this painting and the yoga? How do you want to promote it? Or how you enjoy that moment? Because a lot of time people are not artists, you know. If you think about 100 people, out of 100, 1 or 2 people are artists, not more than that.
Siccome non voglio sbagliare,
ti dico. Allora, lui si ricorda anche di tua figlia che ha studiato lì nella scuola di danza e poi si ricorda, esatto, si ricorda di te che sei una pittrice. Come condividi questi momenti? Sai che diciamo ci sono diversi artisti, ma la tua arte, lo yoga, come li vedi?
Io diciamo che ho messo ultimamente molto dello yoga dentro nelle mie arte, però è una cosa mia personale, non faccio più mostre da almeno 15 anni, non faccio più mostre. E quindi faccio quello che mi interessa e basta. E sì, c'è molto, per esempio il dipinto che c'è qua sopra è Indra.
There is much of yoga in my artistical pieces. Nowadays, I'm not exposing anymore. Has been my last exhibition approximately 15 years ago. So I do paintings just for myself. And for instance, the painting that Amy Blazier just showed us is a representation of Indra.
Faccio anche scultura, poi scrivo libri. Ho scritto 15 libri di vario tipo, sia di yoga sia anche di altro.
And I do sculpture. I am writing books. I wrote approximately 15 books. And out of these books, they're not just all about yoga. There are various books.
È una cosa bella perché posso permettermi di fare quello che voglio senza essere legata a nessuna costrizione.
And it's amazing as I can do things just without feeling construction, as I can do whatever I feel like I want to do.
This shows a total expansion of your consciousness. Yeah? You are growing. That's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to open a floor. Now all the speakers are on my screen for a recording. You may not see that one. Here, Amy Blasio, TP, Dr. DPS is here. Amelia is here. Vinarma Sharma is here. Dr. Harsha Solanki is here. Ramesh Lohanji is here. MNC Bose is here in the Value community. We have 9 people are in the screen in my recording. Okay, so I'm going to open the floor for you guys to ask questions. This is a different dimension of a person. They are growing in a Catholic community, a different culture, learning yoga, and getting interested to Indian culture or the Sanatana Dharma, and bring in even child as a dancer in Bharatanatyam and live in a different style of life. So I'll ask TP to ask the first question.
Mahamandaleshwar Gayatri Devi Amma, Namaskaram from Hyderabad, India. It's probably a great fortune for all of us to listen to a Mahamandaleshwar. Not that common. My master, Himalayan master Swami Vedabharati was a Mahamandaleshwar. So I know the value of that title. I'm sure what you explained, yoga is not physical. It is physical, emotional, intellectual, social, and spiritual. Everything unified. It is not learning and practicing. What you said is something great. It is being. It is being in yoga. It is not seeing yoga. It is not feeling yoga. It is not learning yoga. It is not understanding yoga. You join with the God and you become the God yourself. That's a great message. That's a great message. Pranams.
Allora, Amy, innanzitutto Guruji ti ha detto da subito che è bellissima la sensazione di espansione, proprio dell'espansione della coscienza, e poi ha richiesto a tutti coloro che sono nella piattaforma di farti delle domande, e ha iniziato appunto il dottore dicendoti che innanzitutto è un onore ascoltare un Mahamandaleshwara. Il suo maestro lo era anche e conosce il vero significato di questo termine, della qualifica, e è assolutamente con te nel dire che lo yoga non è solamente fisico ma emozionale, sociale, spirituale, ed è bellissimo quello che hai detto, che lo yoga non si fa, non si deve comprendere, ma lo yoga si è, quindi l'unione è questa con il divino, con Dio, che poi ti permette di diventare Dio. Quindi ti ringrazio immensamente.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Vinamra Sharma.
Thank you, sir. My Sadar Pranam to all the eminent speakers here. So really, when we read the Maharishi Patanjali, he has mentioned that whatever we are suffering, either in the good sense or the bad sense, because of our previous incarnations. And of course, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of time, we have to suffer. So I visiting since 14 days. I can say that something I have contributed, something I have done the good things in my previous incarnations, or it may be some blessing of my parents and that my guru. So means I along with my 11 instrument, we have the part of this wonderful and very interactive and very informative events. So we have blessed with that all the learned scholar in that yogic fields. Means we are very a child, like a child. So since starting to yoga chitta, we are still in that yoga chitta nirodha, but that all the speakers who is present here, all are that that experience in their life, and we have to follow the path of whatever they're discussing in this forum. We have to follow the path. We have to find the references. We have to go through with the literature, and really, I'm thankful to the Guruji who have given this opportunity. And Mataji Pram. Thanks.
Quindi il dottor Sharma ha detto che ha nominato Patanjali dicendo appunto che sia le sofferenze che le gioie insomma vengono da attività che abbiamo fatto, no? Quindi dice probabilmente essere qui in questi giorni, in questi 14 giorni di programma e ascoltare voci sagge, grandi conoscenze vuol dire che siccome lui ha avuto la fortuna di essere qui per 14 giorni, probabilmente ha fatto qualcosa di davvero buono. Ti ringrazia e ringrazia tutto il programma, insomma, per aver portato questa ventata di grandi conoscenze, di grandi voci. Quindi vuole far sapere.
Grazie mille. È la vita, non ho detto niente di diverso di quello che è la vita. Non mi sento diversa, anche se c'è questo Mahamandaleshwar, come ha detto Guruji, ma è solo un titolo. È importante che le persone riescano a essere nel Dharma. No? Se sei nel Dharma riesci anche a non essere orgoglioso di queste cose, perché tu devi sempre imparare giorno per giorno. Ogni momento della vita è un insegnamento. Tu devi aprirti sei sempre, come diceva Leonardo, l'umile scolaro della natura.
Thank you very much for the nice and kind words. And but Emiji is saying that even though she said nothing but her life, even though she has the title of Mahamandaleshwara, but it's just a title. We have to be, if we live in Dharma, we are on the right way. Nothing to be proud of. We just have to be in Dharma, and that's what it's all about. And she mentioned Leonardo da Vinci, who said to remain. Leonardo used to say, we have to be humble students in the path of life, of the nature, in the path of nature. And that's what she's aiming for. Thank you.
That's a great message. I know two of our speakers know Amy Blasio. One is Ramesh Lohanji and Dr. Arshad Solanji. I'll ask Ramesh ji to ask a question to Amy Blasio. Or a comment. Either way, you already met her before.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dileepji, for inviting me. Today, I'm going to speak about yogas and sports in India.
Ramesh, 1 minute. We are asking you to either make a comment or ask a question to Gayatri Devi ji.
Pardon?
You can ask a question to Amy Blasio, Gayatri Devi.
Okay, Gayatri Devi. I would like to ask her, because I'm a yogasan sportsman, what she thinks that this is very big discussion going on whether yoga can be a sports or yogasan can be a sports or not. But we have in India, it's a yogasan as a sports. Now, what she thinks about yogasan as a sports? Please, your views.
Ok, il signore è nel yogasana e ti voleva chiedere, Amy, tutta questa discussione riguardo yogasana, se può essere considerato come uno sport. Parla proprio di yogasana.
Ma io quello che ho sempre pensato, non voglio giudicare nessuno, perché mi sembra che ognuno ha il suo approccio allo yoga, no? Perciò non posso dire questo è sbagliato, quello non è sbagliato, però diciamo che col buon senso io vedrei lo sport dello yoga, cioè l'asana, yogasana, farlo come per i ragazzi, per esempio, che devono crescere il loro corpo, devono formare il loro corpo e si forma con lo yogasana, perché è molto importante anche l'equilibrio, tutto è importante nel bambino, nel ragazzo, fino all'adolescenza, fino alla scuola, fino a che fa scuola, fino all'università. Le competizioni non le vedo, posso vedere le competizioni nel ragazzo da quando è alla materna fino all'università. Poi però dovrebbe diventare un po' più spessore lo yoga, un pochino più di radice, un po' più di senso dello yoga, se non solo la parte fisica, deve arrivare anche tutto il resto, perché altrimenti sarebbe amputato lo yoga solamente con la parte fisica, perché abbiamo 5 kosha, non è che poi a un certo punto lasciarne perdere tutti gli altri, devi fare la parte fisica, la parte respirazione, poi di conoscenza, fino ad arrivare alla parte più elevata di te, insomma.
Thank you very much. So MEG is saying that first of all, she doesn't like to make any judgments. We don't want to judge anybody or anything because anybody can find his own path, his own way. But if we can see yoga with a common sense, with a logical sense, yogasana can be considered as a sport mainly for young people. I mean, like children, kids at school, till university, as yogasana really help them to build their physical body, to establish them in equilibrium, in an equilibrium state of mind. And also about the competition, if we have to refer to them as well, I can see, MEG is saying, I can see the competition for young people till at university age. It's okay for them. But then all this that help them to build up their body has to be overcome, because the body is made out of 5 koshas. And we cannot keep the body just a good state of the body, leaving all the other koshas away. We should go and get into a more deep and profound yoga in a yogic type of sense. And so from the physical part, we should go and work also to the respiratory part, and then the mind, the spiritual part, and so forth.
Uso la parte fisica anche per esempio per le persone anziane, per mantenere il corpo in salute, però deve essere collegato a tutto il resto, alla mente, allo spirito, eccetera.
For instance, I use and refer to the physical part of yoga, even to the elderly people, because we have to keep them healthy and stable in their health in the body. But then we don't have to forget the rest of it. So the spiritual part, the global connection.
Spiritual part is not religious. e spiritually. Mind è la mente elevata, ecco, diciamo, non è solamente diciamo la parte religiosa, non c'entra in questa cosa, diciamo che è la parte più elevata della persona.
As a spiritual, I don't mean religion, but I mean the high level of the mind. I mean the more profound part of the person, no religion.
Thank you, thank you. I'll ask Dr. Solangi to ask a question or a comment about her presentation. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
थैंक यू दिलीप जी, आपने मुझे इनवाइट किया, इसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं। और मेरा क्वेश्चन हिंदी में रहेगा, प्लीज आई एम सॉरी। फिजिकल एजुकेशन इज अ पार्ट ऑफ योगा, या तो मैं ये समझता हूं कि योग फिजिकल एजुकेशन का पार्ट है, ये आप समझते हो कि फिजिकल एजुकेशन योग का पार्ट है, मगर कोई भी खिलाड़ी हो वो 4 तरीके से आगे बढ़ सकता है। सबसे पहले फिजिकली फिट, मेंटली स्ट्रांग, सोशली अलर्ट एंड स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस। ये हमारी योग की परिभाषा में संपूर्ण व्यक्तित्व विकास की व्याख्या में लिखा है कि फिजिकली फिट, मेंटली स्ट्रांग, सोशली अलर्ट और स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस। तो मेरा मानना यह है कि योग से स्पोर्ट्स निकला है, नहीं कि स्पोर्ट्स से योग निकला है। और इसीलिए कहा गया है कि जो फुटबॉल है, ये सबसे बड़ी, पूरी दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा देश फुटबॉल खेलते हैं, इसलिए फुटबॉल को कहा गया कि फुटबॉल इज ए फादर ऑफ गेम्स एंड जिम्नास्टिक ऑल गेम मदर। जिम्नास्टिक सभी गेम्स में आती है, तो जिम्नास्टिक इज ऑल गेम मदर, फुटबॉल इज ऑल गेम फादर। बट मेरा मानना है कि ग्रैंड फादर एंड ग्रैंड मदर इज योग। योग से सब कुछ स्पोर्ट्स निकला हुआ है। तो मेरा स्पष्ट मानना है कि जितने भी वर्ल्ड में स्पोर्ट्स है, ये योग से निकला हुआ है। इतनी परंपरा से आई हुई ये विद्या है कि जो भी स्पोर्ट्समैन है वो है, योगी है, और कोई भी स्पोर्ट्स विदाउट योग से बिना आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता है। तो मैं गायत्री जी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि आपका क्या मानना है, योग से स्पोर्ट्स निकला है कि स्पोर्ट्स से योग निकला हुआ है?
We need a translator for this to English. Yeah, TP Kashikumarji is going to translate.
Dr. Solanki is asking whether sports came from yoga or yoga came from sports, because he believes sports came from yoga. Yoga is the grandfather and grandmother, because sports cannot be played just with the physique. You need an emotional control. You need a great intellect. You must be socially active. Therefore, some sports may be physical, but like football and gymnastics, many other sports, if you look at it, they have the father and mother status. Then you must consider yoga has got the highest grandmother, grandfather status, and therefore sports came from yoga. It is not that they are sports from yoga or yoga from sports. No confusion for Dr. Solanki at all.
Thank you.
Just some comment.
Was it a comment or a question? He wants to know something about
Maybe
energy?
because that is because probably Devi Amma has told, no, sports is only for up to some age.
Ok, like a comment. Ok.
Yeah.
Allora, il signore che poi ha parlato in Indu, quindi hanno tradotto in Hindi, si stava parlando proprio dello sport e delle attività. Quindi lui diceva, ma qual è la relazione tra i due? Nasce prima l'uno, lo sport, o lo yoga, o viceversa? Nella sua concezione, lo yoga è il nonno e lo sport sono i genitori, cioè lo sport viene direttamente dallo yoga, come se fosse tutto un continuo, perché anche nello sport non si può essere semplicemente fisici, ma bisogna avere anche un controllo della mente, essere spiritualmente allerti, socialmente attivi. Quindi, secondo la sua visione, mentre lo sport possono essere considerati come i genitori, i nonni sono lo yoga.
Ma io dall'inizio ho detto che lo yoga è tutto, no? Contiene tutto e quindi può essere così, come dice lui. Ma volevo solo puntualizzare, perché ho detto che lo devono fare solo i bambini, no. Per mantenere il corpo sempre in ordine, cioè diciamo elastico, eccetera. Lo yoga va bene sempre, l'unica cosa è la competizione che deve essere lasciata. Intanto che sono bambini la competizione è costruttiva, ma quando sono adulti la competizione diventa proprio, non so, una cosa sciocca, no? Sciocca di orgoglio, voler essere in un determinato modo. Solo questo c'è da differenza che non avevo detto prima, insomma, che vorrei invece puntualizzare. E per le persone anziane anche hanno bisogno di muovere il corpo per mantenerlo tutte, diciamo, da quando sono bambini fino a quando muoiono, quando si muore, bisogna avere un corpo che ti può supportare, come una macchina, come l'auto, no? È ovvio che tu la devi tenere in forma la macchina, perché se la lasci dentro in un garage per 3 anni, anche se è una Maserati, la devi per forza mettere cioè, come dire, riparare, perché non funziona. Perciò anche un corpo, se lo lasci fermo tanto tempo, perde la sua capacità anche di movimento e oltre anche con la mente, eccetera, ovviamente viene condizionato dal fatto che è un corpo che non funziona.
So MEG is saying that, as she said at the beginning, yoga is everything, no doubt about it. And she would like to point it out of this commentary that the physical part of yoga is absolutely for any age. What she was meaning before for youngers, for instance, is the competition. So till you are young, the competition, of course, is something that can help. But then when you grow up older, the competition starts to lose its interest and it becomes just a part of the ego expression. You have to go over it, but still the physical part is important because we keep in good shape the body. The physical yogasana can be useful at any age group. Absolutely. And it's particularly then helpful when you are young to build up your body. It's particularly helpful when you are elderly, for instance, and keep your body as well, because you need to move, gentle moves and so on. But to have a good health body, then yogasana is helpful, and it will help absolutely also with a steady mind.
È come la macchina, l'hai detto questo?
Ah no, è come la macchina. It's
È
like
come la macchina dentro il garage, insomma.
it's like a car. When you do yogasana means that you start to go around with your car. When you don't move it, it's just like you keep your car inside the garage and it doesn't move, and then it gets spoiled.
Great. So I like to invite Dr. MNC Bose sir, make a comment, not question, a comment. You see that difference. Indians, those who practice in the yoga field, is totally different. They have different advantage, and for is a challenging for to promote and live in yoga as a foreigner for us.
Of course. Before that, shall I put one question, one interesting question I feel now.
Okay.
See, I saw a great dancer behind the speaker.
There's
dancer's, dancer's painting behind the screen. And I heard that our speaker is a good artist also, who can draw pictures very nicely. And moreover, she is connected with Yogasana very much. She has written several books in Yogasana. And I feel that if she is able to write some, I don't know whether she has written some books like that. She can connect this Bharatanatyam. I think that lady studied it, Kalakshetra, which is one of the greatest Bharatanatyam institute in India, and she studied there. And our speaker also is a great artist. How can she connect this yoga with this painting as well as this Bharatanatyam? Is there any relation? Can she connect anything to this these two great form of great form of ability and what is it called, capacity of a person to become an artist? I asked Guruji said only 100 out of 1 person out of 100 will be an artist, and same is the case with a good dancer also. It may become 1 person out of 1,000 to become a good dancer. So can she connect anything like this? And that is my that is not a question. I want to hear from her. One more thing. Today's discussion was it was going on sports. I think sports and yoga. Sports and yoga. I think I can ask question in this subject while the sports experts here in our floor deliver their speech after delivering their speeches.
Yeah.
And
all the sports questions will go after Dr. Arshad and MSD speak. Okay.
Then I can. This I think Madam can say something regarding that.
Painting and the dance and the yoga together in her life.
Allora, Amy, il Signore ha visto anche i tuoi quadri, quindi ha compreso che tu sei un artista e hai avuto a che fare con Bharatanatyam, la danza, e ha scritto libri. Come ti relazioni quindi con le tue espressioni artistiche e lo yoga?
Grazie per la domanda. Diciamo che la parte della pittura è una meditazione per me, come no? La parte spirituale. La parte della scultura è invece molto più fisica. Il Bharatanatyam l'ho provato, ma non è la mia via, perché l'ho lasciato a mia figlia. Lei voleva farlo lei e ho lasciato che lo facesse lei. L'ha sempre fatto molto bene, ha avuto dei grandi maestri come Ambika Buch, Lila Samson, insomma, ha avuto dei maestri molto importanti. Però diciamo che la mia vita è lo yoga, cioè io vivo lo yoga e ringrazio la vita stessa che è yoga, secondo me, sia per quello che mi ha dato molto, ma anche la ringrazio anche per quello che mi ha tolto.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bose, for your question. And J is saying that the painter, first of all, she refers to it as a sort of meditation, while the sculpture is more part of the physical, more like a physical part. What about the Bharatanatyam, the dance? There was not much of her language, so it was left to the daughter, who was very good at. And in fact, the daughter had a beautiful, amazing teachers like Ambika Buch Leela Sampson, and so on. But what is really what represents herself is yoga. Yoga, it's her life above all. Yoga is life itself, and she likes. She wanted to thank life for whatever gave her all the presents that life gave to her, but most of it she would like to thank life for whatever was taken away from her.
That's a beautiful message. I know we are running a little late, so we had to go to the next 4 speakers. I'm so glad Gayatri Devji is able to join us the second day and share your personal life story. I know that you have more to say. That one, in another occasion, you can explain more, and appreciate. And Italy's time is 6 hours or 8 hours forward. I thank you so much for your all the support and being part of our Well Yoga community, and all the activities. I appreciate. And thank you, Amelia Devi, for your wonderful translation. Without you, we won't survive.
Me too. I thank you, Dileepji, that this is a very beautiful afternoon. I like it very much, and I thank everybody. They take some word for me. Thank you a lot for all, to all. Thank you.
Now I'm going to open for the speakers, yoga and the sports. So the first person is Ramesh Lohanji. Is one of my longtime friend. He is the president of the Asian Yoga and Sports Federation and the technical committee member of the Global Yoga Alliance in India. And he's part of some of the events last 2 years. Ramesh, please unmute yourself and bring your yogic life and the sports.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dileepji, for giving me the opportunity. Well, dear friends, I would start how yogas and sports started in India. It's a long story. Yogas and sports started in India in 1923 by a great bodybuilder and yoga master called Master Vishnu Charan Ghosh from Kolkata. And on that time, bodybuilding and yoga, they were having competition together at that time. He took it for another 20 years, and Kolkata was the Janam Bhumi of yogas and sports in India. It still is. There are hundreds of yogasan studios in Calcutta today itself also. So he was the originator of yogasan sports in India, Vishnu Charan Ghosh. He started it in 1923. And then other yogi came in. From there on, one another great yogi was Yogi Dhyandhar, disciple of Baba Haridas Ji Maharaj of Ayodhya. He started a Sadhana Niketan Yoga Ashram at Yamuna river bank in Bagichi Chetan Das in Delhi. And after some time, he joined as assistant director in municipal committee, Delhi. And there he started yogasan competition in primary, middle, and higher level. And after that, came Dhirendra Brahmachari, a great yogi of this era. I also trained by him. He was the man we saw first time on television doing yoga asanas. Black and white television used to be there at that time. And he was the man who bring yoga to the every house and nook and corner of India through Doordarshan. Swami Dhirendra Brahmachari, great yogi, produced hundreds and thousands of yoga teachers in India and abroad. He sent abroad so many people. So from there, during that time, another great yogi came in the horizon of India, that is from Pondicherry. Swami Geetanandji Maharaj, a great yoga master of that era. He started national competition and international yogasan competition in India, in Pondicherry, with the help of Pondicherry Sports and Tourism Department. And from yogis, yogasana experts from all over the world came there and participated in that event during that time, and that goes on since 20 or 30 years continuously. That he contributed a lot in yogasana sports, Swamiji. And today's guest, I think he didn't come, Bal Yogi ji. His son is, Bal Yogi ji is his son of Geetanji Maharaj ji.
He is going to join very soon.
So he is a great yogi son. He is himself is a great yogi. And today, myself and Geetanji Bal Yogi ji, also Vice President of National Yogasan Sports Federation, which was recognized last year by Government of India. We both of are Vice President in that federation, Bal Yogi ji and myself, and Harshad Solanki is Joint Secretary there. So after that came again Kolkata. They started Federation, Indian Yoga Federation in 1979. And since then, started by Niren Majumdar ji, a great yogi. And since then, in 21st century, first World Cup held in New Delhi, organized by Indian Yoga Federation. And then again came a great component of yogasan sports in the world, Dr. Gopalji. With Majumdar and Gopalji, they took yogasan sports to the next level. And first World Cup was held in India in 2000, which 14 countries participated. And next World Cup was held in 2006, where Dileepji came, and I first time met Dileepji there. So we have long association from there. He is doing a lot of work in world today. He is a human service he is doing to the mankind, Dileepji. So Dhirendra Brahmachari ji, Geetanandji Maharaj, Vishnu Charan Ghosh, Niren Majumdar, and many more great yogi who become part of this yogasan sports. And till then, we are having yogasan competition all over the world. 3 Yoga World Cup held in India, 1 by Indian Yoga Federation, 2 by Yoga Confederation of India, where Gopalji was the president. And I was also part of that as technical director of the tournament. And 2015, Government of India recognized yoga, not yogasan, yoga as a sports. We tried, we called all the meeting. Gopalji took the initiative, and we had a meeting in the chamber of Dr. Vijay Kumar Malhotra, Chairman, Indian Council of Sports, that all federations should unite and we will recognize one federation as yoga has been declared as priority sports by Government of India. But somehow we couldn't get together, and some yogis of our era wrote the letter to Government of India. It is in the record itself that yoga cannot be a sports. and government took the declaration back that yoga cannot be a sports. So after 5-6 years, last year we tried again. We went together in the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga. Dr. Baswa Reddy took the initiative, and we all sat together and formed a National Yogasan Sports Federation, and which was eventually recognized by Government of India. And how it is happening in India, Yogasan sports. So till then, till 1923 to now, it is a long journey. And I'm telling you, in Asia, almost 8-9 countries has been recognized Yogasan as a sports. And for which the heartening thing is that for Mohammedan dominated countries, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, they have recognized yoga as a sports. So this is a long journey of yogasan sports, and we are now planning, Government of India is also planning that we have a yogasan in Olympic in the coming time. So it becomes a competitive sports in Olympic. So that is why I asked this question, because Europe has reluctant to recognize yoga as a sports. So that is why we decided it. Yoga cannot be a sport, but yogasan can be a sports. That was my question to Europe and whole world. And South America, they are having so many federation and they are recognizing yogasan as sports. But somehow Europe is reluctant to recognize yogasan as a sports. So this is the journey. I am just small brief I gave you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, Dileepji. You are doing great work in UN. You are a really Dharti Putra of India, spreading our spiritual heritage to the world. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thanks for getting it.
Thank you, Rameshji, bringing the history of yogasana sports. Now, I used to have competition for my students, as a fun.
Yeah, you were there in 2006. I know.
And we never had like an official style of sports.
Yeah.
Because in Kerala that time it's a totally different style. Now they have.
Yeah.
And there's a picture I put it on. This is the picture from Sami Bua.
Great yogi, yeah.
Yoga.
Great yogi, India has produced,
75 or 80. And Satya Sai Baba is sitting there. He's a 16 years old boy. And the king of Maharaja from Mysore Palace. This is happening in the Mysore Palace. And I know now our speaker is joining. Ananda Bala Yoga Bhavanani, I think he's here.
Great.
Right. So this is a wonderful picture. I always keep it. And now I like to invite Dr. Harshad Solangji to speak. Hanji.
Yeah. ज्यादातर तो हमारे दोस्त रमेश लोहार जी ने योगासना स्पोर्ट्स की
of the Asian Yoga Sports Federation and the joint secretary of the National Yogasana Sports Federation and the committee member of
three people in your panel are from National Yogasana Sports Federation, which are recognized by the Government of India.
Yeah, proceed, please proceed.
Thank you, दिलीप जी. ज्यादातर हमारे दोस्त रमेश लोहान जी ने योगासना स्पोर्ट्स की पूरी हिस्ट्री बता दी. तो ये कोई नई चीज नहीं बनी है. हिंदुस्तान में योगासना स्पोर्ट्स बरसों से चली आई, मगर आज पूरी विश्व में जब हम यूनो में 2015 में विश्व योग दिन घोषित हो गया और 174 कंट्री ने हमारे प्रधानमंत्री के कहने से यूनो ने ये प्रस्ताव पारित कर दिया और विश्व के 174 कंट्री ने जब योगासन को स्वीकार कर लिया, योग को स्वीकार कर लिया, तब हमको एक और इच्छा हुई कि योगासन को एज ए स्पोर्ट्स लिया जाने से योग इतना बड़ा विषय है, इसमें यम नियम आसन प्राणायाम प्रत्याहार ध्यान धारणा समाधि जैसे बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट है अष्टांग योग के, तो ये समाज में प्रस्तुत करने के लिए ये बहुत बड़ा विषय हो जाएगा. किसी को ध्यान धारणा और समाधि की बात समझ में नहीं आएगी, किसी को यम नियम कैसे, ये सब प्राइमरी स्टेज पर ठीक है, मगर एज ए स्पोर्ट्स योग को लेने के लिए हम लोगों ने चुना कि योगासना एज ए पार्ट ऑफ द स्पोर्ट्स, योगासन इस स्पोर्ट्स का पार्ट हो सकता है। ध्यान धारणा और समाधि ये राजयोग है, और बाकी के पहले 5 स्टेप जो ये हठ योग है, सब लोग हम जानते हैं। तो हम तो जानते हैं कि भाई आफ्टर 51 ध्यान धारणा और समाधि में हम लोग योग को ज्यादा महत्व दें, पर यम नियम आसन और प्राणायाम इंक्लूडिंग प्रत्याहार, ये हमारी 50 इयर्स की उम्र, 50 साल की उम्र से पहले का एक बहुत बड़ा स्टेज है कि जहां से हम योगासना को स्पोर्ट्स के रूप में सारी गेम्स में हेल्प ले सके, दे सके। आज हम देख सकते हैं विश्व के सभी स्पोर्ट्स में योग इंस्ट्रक्टर, योग गाइडेंस, योग थेरापिस्ट, और बिना योग कोई भी स्पोर्ट्स नहीं होता है पूरे वर्ल्ड में। आप किसी भी खिलाड़ी का नाम ले लीजिए, ये फिर आज तो मुझे इस बात का भी मैसेज मिला था कि मिस्टर पेले जो फुटबॉल के महान व्यक्ति हो गए, वो भी किसी एसोसिएशन में योग से जुड़े हुए हैं। तो फुटबॉल प्लेयर पेले इज पार्ट ऑफ द फेडरेशन योग का।
हर्षद भाई, ब्राजील में फुटबॉल में कंपलसरी है योगा।
या गुड। तो ये आज हिंदुस्तान एज ए योगासना स्पोर्ट्स नहीं, पूरी वर्ल्ड उसको समझ रही है कि योगासना एज ए स्पोर्ट्स, और हर कोई स्पोर्ट्स में एकाग्रता की जरूरत पड़ती है, ध्यान की जरूरत पड़ती है। कोई भी स्पोर्ट्स बिना ध्यान और एकाग्रता से नहीं आगे बढ़ सकता है। तो एज ए ट्रेनर अगर हम जीत गए किसी भी खेल में, तो उसको पचाने के लिए भी हमें धैर्य चाहिए। हमें किसी गेम में बिना ध्यान एकाग्रता से हम आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते। तो ये तो हम लोग कह रहे हैं कि योग सभी स्पोर्ट्स में है, मगर ये तो बरसों से एक अंदरूनी क्रिया ही थी शरीर की। योग हर जगह पे था, जन्म और मृत्यु की व्यवस्था योग है। ये कोई फिजिकल फिटनेस या किसी स्पोर्ट्स का हिस्सा नहीं है, ये जन्म और मृत्यु की व्यवस्था है योग। हम जब पैदा होते हैं और मृत्यु की अवस्था तक हम जो भी क्रिया करते हैं, आज भी देखो हम संयोग से सब लोग मिले, 21 जून का माध्यम बना लो, मगर हम लोग जुड़े किसी न किसी माध्यम से, तो हमारा हो गया योग, एक दूसरे जुड़ना। योग का अर्थ ही जुड़ना है। तो योग तो कहा गया है कि भाई योग का असंख्य मार्ग हो सकता है। मीनिंग ऑफ 100 मीनिंग ऑफ योगासना, बट वन मीनिंग इज द वेलकम टू द गॉड। ईश्वर तरफ जानने का भी एक मार्ग है योग। तो योग कहाँ नहीं जाता, हर जगह पे। स्पोर्ट्स ले लो, कहीं भी किसी भी क्रिया में, सामाजिक लेवल पर देखो, आप किसी भी लेवल पर देखो, तो योग तो जीवन का हिस्सा है। योग हमारी लाइफ है, जीवन मृत्यु की व्यवस्था योग है। योग किसी एक बंधन में बांधने वाली चीज नहीं है। योग को समझने के लिए जन्मों जन्मांतर की प्रक्रिया है। योग तो ऐसा भी शास्त्र कहते हैं। योग किसी एक जन्म में समझा नहीं जाता, योग किसी एक जन्म में सिखा नहीं जाता। योग जन्म जन्मांतर की क्रिया है। योग आज जिस जन्म से हमने जितना सीखा, अगले जन्म में हम यहीं से आगे स्टार्ट करेंगे, ये भी हमारी धारणा, हमारा धर्म कहता है। तो योग एक ऐसी व्यवस्था है, जीवन की पद्धति है। योग हमारा मार्गदर्शन है, योग हमारी सांसों की प्रक्रिया है, और योग हर जगह पे है। ज्यादा बोलते न हुए, बाल योगी जी बहुत बड़े योगी है, एक बड़े योगी के संतान है, इस पर ज्यादा बोलेंगे, और मुझे मौका दिया गया इसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत दिलीप जी आपका धन्यवाद करता हूँ। अंग्रेजी में मुझे थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, इसलिए हिंदी में मैंने बोला, शायद बाकी कुछ लोग समझ नहीं पाएंगे, मगर योग हमारी व्यवस्था है, हमारा जीवन है, योग ही हमारा जीवन है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Dr. Ashad Solangi ji. Is TPS is here? Dr. TP Shashikumar ji. Okay. Then I'll invite our guest of honor, Dr. Yogacharya Dr. Ananda Balayoga Bhavanani. Is the chairman of the ICYR at Ananda Ashram and member of the National Board of Promotion and Development of Yoga and Naturopathy at the Ministry of Ayush in India. And he is the executive member at the Indian Yoga Association and much more. Here I like to bring one of the picture with the Sami Bua and him sitting in the back and his father is sitting.
Great picture. Yeah, really. Wonderful collection, Dileepji.
Yeah, that we cannot miss it because you already mentioned about his father's name as a part of the history of yoga sports. So we don't
I was honored to meet Geetanand ji in Gopalji's house. It's a big honor for us, all of us.
So I'm going to bring our guest speaker, Dr. Ananda Balayoga Bhavanani ji. Floor is for you.
Namaste, Namaskaram, Swagatam, Shubdinam, Vandanam, Bonjour, Buongiorno, Buonasera, Buonanotte. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you. I am overjoyed that my dear Guruji, Dileepji, keeps on going on and on and on and on and on, organizing these events. Like these battery that will never stop functioning, he is like that. He is a yoga battery. So Guruji, Dileepji, I give you a new title. You are the yoga battery. You are the cellular power of yoga. And every year he has been doing for now, I think it is 28 years now, if I'm not wrong. And I know how difficult it is to do. To do 1 year is very easy. To do 2 years is a little more difficult. After 3 years, you stop doing. And it is at that point, when it comes to about 20, 25, you think I will stop with 25, it is silver jubilee, I will stop there. But still he keeps going on and on. And I congratulate you on your dedication to yoga, Dileepji. That dedication to yoga is what yoga is all about. Yoga is not about just the body posture. Yoga is not just about the philosophy. Yoga is not just about looking good on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. No, 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 no. Yoga is about being the best version of yourself. You have been born human. We have all been born human. We have all been born human. Are we fulfilling our dharma as a human being? Manushya dharma. Are we fulfilling our Manushya dharma as a human being? Are we fulfilling our Swadharma? The beautiful message of the whole Bhagavad Gita is to fulfill one's Swadharma. Not try to do somebody else's dharma because it looks good. In the world today, everybody wants to do somebody else's dharma. They don't want to do their dharma. Krishna is very clear. He says, you do your dharma, not anybody else's. You be yourself. And that is why the beautiful message of Ramana Maharishi, who lived 3 hours from here at Arunachala. It's only 3 hours from Pondicherry. So my father used to take me from my childhood. How many thousands of times we have been to Mount Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachalam. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. What a beautiful energy as you walk up that mountain, holy mountain, and you go around that temple town. What an amazing energy is there. And Ramana Maharishi, he was asked, Ramana, what is the best asana? Because always everybody wants to find the best asana so that they'll become the best yogi by doing best asana. So they said, what is the best asana? Ramana Maharishi, he said it is Nidhi Dhyasana. Nidhi Dhyasana. You know what is Nidhi Dhyasana? It is to be established in the knowledge. Pehla step kya hai? You have to listen to it. It is so important. We have to listen. Shravana. The first step, Shravana, to listen. Not hear. Everybody hears. We have ears, so we hear. But do we listen? No. Because hearing is a passive process. All sound will come in, it will hit your tympanic membrane, vibrate, and you will get some sound. That is hearing. But listening is active. We need to focus the mind. We need to focus the mind, as Harshad ji and my dear seniors here, Ramesh Lohan ji was saying. Dharana Dhyana Samadhi, the Antaranga of Ashtanga Yoga of Maharishi Patanjali. The Samyama is essential for everything in life. Not only for yogasana performance, for everything in life you need it. Because if you don't have that focus, you cannot achieve anything in any sphere of human activity. But you know what? Shravana, you have to first listen by focusing. You have to choose to focus in order to listen. The second step, manana. You need to contemplate it. You listen to some knowledge. Ano badhva kudavo yanto vishwataha, says our Vedas. The oldest literature of humanity is the Vedic literature. The Rig Veda is the oldest literature of humanity. I won't even call it a book. I will say literature. Book is too small a word for the Rig Veda. It is literature of humanity. And it tells us, Ano badhva kudavo yanto vishwataha. Let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. Be open to the noble thoughts coming from all directions. Listen to those noble thoughts. Listen to them. Take them in. Contemplate them. Manana. Manana is the contemplation, the contemplation, the contemplation, and you start to digest. Mentally, you have to digest the concept. And then comes Nididhyasana. You are established in that concept. You listen to the concept, you learn about the concept. You contemplate, you introspect, you reflect on the concept, and finally you become established in it. That final state of being established in the wisdom is Nididhyasana, and that is the best asana according to Maharishi Ramana. Today we are thinking that Shirsasana is the best asana. Many students asked my father, Swamiji, what is the best asana? He said the best asana is your asana. Your asana is the best asana. Because what is asana? Asana is a state of being. To be. To be is what asana is. It comes from the root asi, like tattvam asi. That asi is the root of asana, which means to be, not to do, to be. And in order to be, you have to have stillness. You have to have stillness. That stillness is where you start to settle everything. Just as the chitta vritti nirodha has to occur, prana vritti nirodha has to occur, mano vritti nirodha has to occur, atma vritti nirodha has to also occur. You have to be established. And that is why asana is a state of being. It is said in the Shiva Samhita and also in the Garuda Purana, many places it is said that 8.4 million, 84 lakh asana, 8.4 million asana. You say, which book will have that asana? In our National Yogasana Sports Federation, we are looking at creating documents for all these practices. But even I think we will find it difficult to get 8.4 million asana. Because it is not the asana you are performing, it is all the forms of life. The Garuda Purana tells us, Andaja, there are 2.1 million. Shvedaja, 2.1 million. Jara Yuja, 2.1 million. And Udbija, 2.1 million. So 2.1, 2.1, 2.1, 2.1, 8.4. 8.4 million, 84 lakh. 84,100,000 forms of life are there. From the seed, Udbija. That is why we do the Vrikshasana. That is why we do Padmasana. To understand the life forms that have come from seed. You then have Shvedaja from the slime. You want to understand all these creepy crawlies. We do what we call all the movements like a earthworm. This is part of our Kita Kriya. Where like a insect you start to find. You then come to the Andaja from the egg. You do Bhujangasan. You do Makarasan. Then you do all the bird postures. Kakasan, Bakasan, Mayurasan, Kraunchasan. You do all of that. And then you come to Jara Yuja, all the mammals. You start to do Ushtrasan, the camel. And then finally you come to human asan. What is the human asan? Vajrasan. Because no animal can sit in Vajrasan. Only the human being can sit in Vajrasan. Because of the shape of our knee. All animals, the knee goes the other way. When you can sit in Vajrasana, you are manifesting the human nature. And then we go into the next level. We don't just want to be human. We want to be humane. So we want to become Rishi. Durvasasana, Vishwamitrasana, Vashishtasana, Ruchikasana, all these Maharishis we want to strengthen. We are still not happy. Humane, we want to become divine. Hanumanasana, Anjaneyasana, Natarajasana. And that is how the evolutionary growth occurs through even the yogasana. Such a beautiful technology, scientific technology. Today we talk of science, modern science. How old is it? Modern medicine. I am a modern medical doctor. How old is it? A couple of 100 years. How old is the yogic science? Thousands and thousands of years. When did yoga start? Yoga started when life started. When life started on this planet, yoga started. It is called Hiranyagarbha Yoga. The golden bioplasm, one of the names of the sun is Om Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. We propitiate the sun. Hiranyagarbha. Hiranya means gold. What is Garbha? Bioplasm, from where life has started. We say Hiranyagarbha Yoga is the original. It started with life. But because we don't understand, we say Hiranyagarbha was a rishi. No. We are talking that when life started, yoga started, because yoga starts the moment we create duality. When Purusha has got caught up in Prakriti and the Mahat has occurred, suddenly you have created a new reality. And then what does yoga say? You have come into Dvaitam. We have to go back to Advaitam. We have to go from 2 to 1. We have to again go back to the original state of Kaivalya. And that is why we have to go against the gunas, the 3 gunas, guna vritti nirodhacha. Why you have to go against the guna vritti? You know, we talked about chitta vritti, mano vritti, prana vritti. Sometimes I say jnana vritti also is there. Ajnana vritti is even more than jnana vritti. All this is going on. But then ultimately what happens? Guna vritti, the patterns of the gunas, you have to go against it. Guna vritti virodhacha. Why you have to do that? Because it is parinama tapa. You have to evolve yourself. You have to transform yourself. Why? Because dukkhameva sarvam vivekinah. Everything is dukkham. The ones you have viveka khyati, which is the goal of yoga. Yoganga anushtanat ashuddhikshaye jnana deepti aviveka kyatehe. That is why yama niyama asana pranayama pratyahara dharana dhyana samadhaya ashtau angani. Why do the 8 limbs exist? For the sake of ashuddhikshaye. Get rid of all the ashuddha. Mala shuddhi has to occur. You have to get rid of it. Ashuddhikshaye jnana deepti. Your inner light has to come on. The light bulb comes on. And suddenly you move from tamasika to rajasika to sattvika. That movement is occurring. Gunavritti virodhacha. And you suddenly realize, oh my God, I thought all of this is sukha. This is not sukha. This is all dukkha. And at that moment you say, I want to escape. You develop escape velocity. To escape out of this going round in circle. It is called samskara vasana. Samskara and vasana is doing the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again. And this is why my father used to say, doing the same thing again and again, but expecting a different result is what insanity is about. To be pazza in Italy, I think it's pazza, right? To be mad. Is you do the same thing again and again, but you expect a different result. It will not be different. You do the same thing. Left hand side of the equation, what if you put the same ingredient, right side of the equation will always be the same. But you will keep on expecting it to be different. It will not be different unless we change what we put in. What we put in has to change, and that is why when you want to work against the samskara and vasana, spiral going round and round and round and round and round. And we think, hey mom, look at me, I'm on a merry-go-round. No, it is dukkha, it is not sukha. You think it is sukha? No. Mudajanihi. As Adi Shankara, he says, he says we are all muda. We are all fools because we have got stuck in this. We have to escape out of it. The escape velocity is developed by the sadhana of yoga. And where is yoga sadhana happening? In the now. Where is it happening? In us. Who has to do it? We have to do it. Nobody can do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves where we are. We have to do it in the present moment. That is why my father used to say, do it now, do it now, do it now. He used to say, din, 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 din. Just like Nike, they say, just do it. Huh? I said, my father, he originated that phrase, do it now. This is the type of intensity we need, because it is the intense sadhaka who achieves samadhi, who achieves kaivalya the earliest. Again, Maharishi Patanjali, I like to call him Superman Pat. He, for me, is a Superman. Maharishi Patanjali is a Superman. He is a time traveler. He is from the future. He is time traveler, gone back into the past and given us these amazing, amazing roadmap. The Yoga Sutras are the best roadmap ever created. And what has he given us? He has said, Thivra Samvega Namasannaha. When you are a Thivra Samvegin, you have to have that intensity. My sadhana will be there 24 hours a day. Every moment sadhana will be there. Every moment of life is yoga. All life is yoga, said Sri Aurobindo. Yoga is a way of life, said my father. These are the teachings we need to live. Not this Instagram yoga, that is nonsense. Nowadays we find plastic yoga, plasticized yoga. Everything has become plastic. Yoga also has become plasticized. Barbie doll yoga, I call it. Barbie doll yoga, plasticized yoga. And they have taken the soul out of it. The Atma is missing. Because India has been taken out. Bharatiya Sanskriti has been taken out of it. Samskritam has been taken out of it. And so today we find yoga, which is just the body without the soul. It is Jada yoga. Jada means dead body. Nowadays you have autopsy yoga, Jada yoga, plasticized yoga, Barbie doll yoga. Let us remember, yoga is a way of life. It is a way of life of mindful, conscious, evolutionary effort of the self. And it is based on the cultural ethos of Sanatana Dharma. It requires the terminology. What is the terminology of yoga? The scientific terminology of yoga is Sanskritam. If I want to understand anatomy and physiology, I need to know the correct scientific name. If I want to talk about the liver, I have to call it liver. I have to say hepatic cancer. I have to say hepatitis. Hepata is the liver. I cannot say, oh, that funny thing which is in the top of your stomach, near your stomach. If I say that, you'll say, no, that is not scientific. You have to use the correct terminology in science. Every science has its own terminology. It has its own methodology. That terminology of yoga is Sanskritam. But what has happened today? We have divorced Sanatana Dharma from yoga. We have divorced Sanskritam from yoga. We have divorced India from yoga. And then you have Ayoga yoga, Viyoga yoga. Yoga requires Sanatana Dharma. Yoga requires that we have appreciation for the culture. This is culturally appropriate yoga. On 21st of June, we are releasing a new ebook on yoga and cultural misappropriation. And this is a very close topic to my heart because we need to appreciate the culture. You don't have to become Indian, but you have to appreciate the culture. And when we appreciate the culture, we keep the context of yoga, the cultural context, we will have yoga in its Purna Vishwa Rupam. So these are some thoughts I wanted to share with you today. And I thank my dear Dileepji, Guruji, Dileepji. Always a pleasure to be with you and so many of my yoga family here today. And for now, I will stop talking. Later on, when you give me a few moments, I'll sing one song also today because Dileepji has asked me to sing for you today also. Namaste, Dhanyavadaha, Grazie, Mercy, Danke.
Namaste, namaste, merci beaucoup. So,
We are now becoming multilingual.
so I'm putting 5 of you on the screen for recording. One is Dr. Anandaji and me, TPS Ji, Ramesh Ji, and Solangi Ji. I'll ask TPS Ji to ask a question to Ananda Balayoga Bhavana Ji. You see the achievement as a yoga boy from a childhood, living in a yoga family with art and music. He has so many talents, and now he's one of the youngest leading person in the government of India for the Ayush and the yoga departments. So I want to get the comments and the question from TPST.
Namaskaram, Dr. Ananda Balayogi Ji. We are going to meet tomorrow again.
Correct.
Kerala chapter. We are co-speakers. I see probably what others may not see is what Dr. Anandaji has seen. The completeness, the Sanatana, the culture, the science. As a being, from the seed, if a big tree has to grow, it needs to realize its power in the seed itself. I am 100% sure these were the vision which our yogis had. They understood the power in the seed which could grow and then become the great. When all the other beings were made, maybe Brahma became Taihi, and then he created his last supreme, where probably 1/10 of the weight can be balanced so well. Without being horizontal, you can stand vertical. But unfortunately, probably the gymnastics where Dileepji has shown the picture. Mysore Palace made people to stand upside down, where I keep asking, we don't see any Bhagavan standing upside down in Shirshasana. So sometimes we twist the Indian practice to fit with the other European practitioners who came to India to popularize gymnastics. Now today we have a great confusion, which is yoga, which is gymnastics. Where do you make the barrier? Whether gymnastics has to be included in yoga, or maybe the yoga has to be called again back as gymnastics. These are all probably, like when you make avial in Kerala, it is very difficult to separate the vegetables. No. Or maybe the Column is made in Tamil Nadu. You cannot separate it out now. It has become so much mixed up. So now somebody says, this portion of my content in yoga is what is more in sports. The sports fellow will come and say that this part of the sports is more in yoga. You give me that portion. No. I think this is because we are trying to segregate, separate and see. If the yoga itself, if you see unified, and if it is useful, we should take it. Some filtering, probably some purification. As you said, that will come only when you culture it. That itself is culturing. But then it has been so much made public, and everybody can make capsules and sell it on the roads also. So since you quoted Ramana Maharshi, I must tell, Prana Bandhanat liyate mana jala pakshivat dinarodana. So it is not that simple to see. Hadayoga Pradipika says now, you can learn the pranayama, but if you don't practice it well, ayuktabhyasa yogena sarvaroga samudbhavaha. So this can be very harsh on ourselves. There are a lot of scientific experiments to see how yoga even changes your DNA pattern. Not in this Janma. Probably your children can become,
Correct.
no, maybe some psychic problem can be there. That also can happen. Maybe the next creation can be some lunatic sometime if you don't do it perfectly well. I think it has to be scientifically understood. We need a lot of research on this. A great work has to come from all the people who are involved. I think this is a beautiful group. We have a great message to give to the government as well as to the public. Fortunately or unfortunately, India is not practicing well, and we are not even very close to the world health index. We don't come in the highest grade. In wellness index also, India doesn't come with all the practices which we have. That is because we always do it as a fashion. We want to celebrate, but not to do it. So this, if you don't take it very serious, I think if more than blessings, it can be a big curse on the generations to come. So this is what I think I understood from what is being told here. Soon after listening to Dr. Harshad Solanki, that where we stop, we have to take it up. The line has to continue. If the line is not understood, probably we will always start from the base and never reach anywhere on the top. That's what is happening. I think
Thank you so much, G, for those statements. And I would just like to add a few aspects to it. One is that the yoga abhyasa definitely alters our epigenetics. The way the genes are expressed, there's no doubt about it. And even the way that telomeres and the telomerase enzyme works has been studied. And some beautiful work by Dean Ornish in North America is really working on that. So it does affect our genomics, it affects the epigenetics. But with regard to this question, where does yoga become yogasana and become a sport? I think we need to go back into our culture and realize there are multiple variations in our culture. Our culture never said only this is correct. It said iti, iti. This is also correct, that is also correct. And Lord Nataraja in his Ananda Tandava, you will find all sort of yogasanas that can be derived from the Ananda Tandava, the 108 dancing postures, the karnas that we do in dance. And my Ammaji, my beloved mother, Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani, was a pioneer in restoring the Natya Karanas back into the dance, which had been lost. So we have young children who learn the yoga from the childhood, the dance from the childhood. And when we brought it in, we go to Chidambaram, where there's this beautiful depiction. You do find Lord Shiva upside down also dancing. So I must say that there is Lord Shiva dancing upside down. And in our ashram at Kamble Swami Madam, my father created a huge statue. It's about 30 feet high, of Shiva and Shakti dancing upside down in Ananda Tandava, which is a combination when Parvati starts to dance with Shiva. She says, if you can dance, I can dance better. And they have a competition. And there's a point where the whole prapancha is created by the utterance of the primordial by Lord Shiva. And so there's a history there. So yes, we do have it in our culture, but this was not part and parcel of, say, Hatha Pradipika, Yaranda Samhita, Shiva Samhita, Hatha Ratnavali, because again in our culture, everything was not written down. We have been a tradition which is a Karana Parampara, where the guru used to talk, it was heard by the student, then the student became a guru. Guru Shishya Parampara was a Sanatana Nitya Sampradaya. So it is a Nitya Sampradaya that is continuous, and the word of the Guru was taken as the highest authority as per the Agama Shastra. So the concept of Agama in Pramana, we have Pratyaksha Anumana Agama as a means of Pramana. Agama, which is the Guru's reliable testimony, was accepted by the student. Now, it is true that in the last, let us say, 100 years, there have been a lot of creations in yogasanas. And especially in the last 10 years, it has gone totally mayhem. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry on Instagram is creating a new posture. Now, these have now started to go on to the side of gymnastics. I do agree. Where does the thin line of asana stop? And where does the thin line of gymnastics begin? I think the most important aspect is the internal sadhana of the practitioner. A yogasana may be padmasana and may take the person to samadhi. A yogasana may be urdhva mukha, adho mukha, twisted, one-handed, all these variations. It can also take the practitioner to samadhi based on the internal sadhana. And for the last 50 years, my father pioneered the work in yogasana sport. We used to call it yoga sport, but then people had issues, so it's become yogasana sport. And I said, yoga is a huge tree, because I saw somebody commenting that yogasana and yoga, there's a difference, and I accept it. I've written a lot of articles on this. Yoga is a huge tree. One of the branches is yogasana sport. We are not claiming the whole tree is yogasana sport. The whole tree is yoga. Purnam is yoga. One branch is yogasana sport. Another branch is yoga therapy. Today people think yoga therapy is everything in yoga. No. Yoga therapy, yoga chikitsa is one branch. So similarly, there are many branches. Now the yogasana sport branch is a relatively newer branch. So it is very tender. It is growing. It is trying to adapt to the situation. It is trying to understand what are the pluses and minuses of the environment. So there will be things that we have to work out. We have to iron out certain issues to prevent it from becoming gymnastic. It shouldn't become a poor man's gymnastics. So we have to make sure, is the yama and niyama part of the process? Is there an internal sadhana happening? Is there an elevation of consciousness happening? When that happens, I think we will be a role model for so many things to happen. But thank you for pointing that out, sir, because it is a very valid point. And I think we need to address it. Yoga is the big tree. Yogasana sport is one branch. Let that branch grow nicely. Let us cultivate it. As you said, culture. We have horticulture, agriculture, sericulture. Let us have yogasana sport culture also. And let that develop on its own side. Let us support it. Prevent any mutations and create a healthy branch that can give shade to so many in the world. Namaste.
Great. I remember the Malakam, Sami Bu used to do it. A lot of photos I saw from his past life. And Swami Shivananda used to have a yoga competition at the ashram, and Swami Buva's younger daughter got prizes. So there's no point to argue is good or bad. Anything can practice for a spirituality. Nothing wrong with it. So the only thing is to keep our mind in the balanced state. So here, my professor, when I was in sports, he was my teacher and the professor at the coaching college. And Bala Yoga Baniji, just keep the video on because we are recording all the stuff. Yeah, because only for you guys is recording. Okay. And Professor Dr. MNC Bose, he is the former Director of Physical Education and former Director of Students Welfare at the University of Kerala, and Global Council member of the World Yoga Community. And I want to invite him to say a few words. And I know we are creating a globalized yoga sports group because I want to bring everyone together because we want to bring this as a part of the UN. Sports is part of the UN, so we want to make this one. Bosar, please.
Good evening and good morning to all. Good morning for the US people. Okay. I am more a sports person than a yogic yogasana person. I started my yoga training at the age of 9 when I was studying in 4th standard. It happened when one of my cousin came to my house for a stay for his studies for 2-3 years, and he teach me yogasanas. I started it for a while and I studied it. When I went to the college, to the middle school level, I was more attracted by the athletics event. I was practicing athletics there. After when I become after 15 years or 16 years, as everyone in our district do, I went to the gymnasium for weight training and weightlifting. I became a weightlifter after that. And after that, my degree, I became a kabaddi player because I was attracted more by the kabaddi and represented state and attended national. Whereas as a weightlifter, also I was a university champion for several years. When coming to yoga, I have little experience with yoga, but while I was studying my physical education master degree, again I have a chance to go with yoga. I started studying, referring so many books in yoga, because whereas in my games like kabaddi, kho, weightlifting, very little literature were there to for referring. And but whereas in yoga, so many hundreds and hundreds of books available in the library. I started referring yoga, and for as you all know that for a master's degree, we have to submit a small dissertation. I took vital capacity in connection of yoga, as well as vital capacities, because I took vital capacity as a major thing, because I am dealing with kabaddi also. Kabaddi also we need good vital capacity. So I move with yoga, and I have read so many books regarding yoga, and write some this article also regarding yoga. In my opinion, yoga is, of course, it is a sports event. I am a sports person, but whereas it is more related to the relaxation and the regeneration process of our body and mind. And a relaxation in the sense, a total, I am not talking about, it's not a total relaxation. We can, if we can concentrate in a small relaxation in between a sports event, while suppose we are running a 800 meter on the track, we can have a relaxation on our leg from one step to the next step. If you can practice that one, that effect, you can perform better. That was my research there. And that relaxation method, to obtain that relaxation capacity, we have to practice some yogas also. So I was doing that one in my master's degree. When I came to the, I was planning to take a PhD, I took the same topic for little elaborated way. And there also I studied, refer so many yoga books. My topic was a connection of vital capacity for the performance of athletes and kabaddi players especially. And that, there also I have a good connection, but I did not practice yoga at that time. But after a while, after completing all these things, I heard that yoga is going to become because I was in the field of sports for a long time. I was in association with so many state and national associations, and I got bored with this internal politics of sports association, different sports association. Here in yoga also, I think yoga is, as you said, as Mr. Ananda Balayogi said, yogasana is only a branch of a big tree. And yogasana, when you go into a sports thing, yogasana will be the main thing for related to sports. So that yogasana, of course, it can become a good sports event in the world, like India can give one more event. There are kabaddi, kho and some other Indian games, wrestling. Like we can give one more hockey also. We can give one more game like yogasana. That is from our Indian origin. Anyway, I should not forget Guruji because he is working. He's my student, of course. He was a bright student. He was an able student, and he was good in sports, arts, and NCC also. But I should congratulate him for his dedication to propagate yoga and yoga community throughout the world. Somebody was saying that now more than 120 countries are practicing yoga in the yoga day like that. But that is because of our Guruji also. Guru Dileepji also became his hard work and consisting work make him to do that. He, I know that this is the 28th annual celebration of yoga, World Yoga Community. Of course, it is the 7th International Yoga Festival, of course, but this is the 28th. I should say that he was fighting like anything to make yoga accepted by the UN and to as an yoga day for declaration of one day as yoga. Of course, our Prime Minister has taken initiative. Of course, I accept it that even before that he was trying, and I know it very clearly because I was attending his one or two performance in this international yoga festival of Guruji, organized by the Guruji. I got chances to attend it also. Anyway, now I am happy that sports, Indian government has accepted yogasanas and yoga as a sports. And now it is yoga, it is called as Yoga Federation of India or International Yoga Federation. We are not saying that Yogasana Federation or Yoga Interest. Anyway, that is good only because yoga has a good command on all the sport. As somebody was saying that yoga must be a grandfather of all these sports. Like football is the father and gymnastics is the mother of all sports. Yogasana is the grandfather and mother of sports only. That is correct only. I appreciate him for saying that one. And I should say that now after so many years of traveling with sports events, sports journey, weightlifting, kabaddi playing, and physical education, and after dance and music, for the last 10 years, I was became dance and music team and finance team also. So now I come back to yoga. I am practicing yoga regularly, and I am a shishya of Guru Dileepji, and very happy and proud to announce that I am Guru Dileepji's student. Of course, he was my student earlier. Now I am his student only. Thank you all.
So I appreciate your wisdom. Very hard for a teacher to say that, it's not normal. For my, either way, I did a lot of work to have the yoga day, but I had to acknowledge all the great masters who made the foundation store for me to move on, including Andava Balayoga and his father, and all other masters, Swami Shivananda, Swami Bua, they all supported us. I had great opportunity to be part of the UN, so easy to push it, And perfect timing, Modi ji came. Otherwise, nothing will happen. We were working hard for decades to make this way. I remember when I mentioned 25 years back in Kerala, people laugh at me. Yoga day? For what? Then we had a meeting in Argentina with Govali and all other people, and there is a conflict between which day it should be. So I said we had to go with the June 21st. No, there's argument happening. Then the guy from Portugal came, be part of our group. I said, no, that's correct. We already start the movement. So you just join with us, fine. So then I sent him to HR Nagendraji and all the people to mobilize, and the DR Karthikeyan was there. And we announced at the Indian consulate in 2007, it's going to happen. And people laugh at me, I said, no, just wait and see. So this happened. And the first event at the UN 2015, and 14 when Modi ji came, I was there. Then Sushma Swaraj, I had a meeting with her. We pushed really hard. And we had a prayer service only for this at the UN. And the value community, we are using this name for a long time. It was not a registered organization at all. We made as an ad hoc from my NGO. That's why we mobilized. And there was a conflict between one of the group from Argentina, real mess. Then we just took it separate, Then I told Sami Buaji what to do with this name. I have the domain and all that. Now you make it as the organization. And just in 2000, before the inaugural ceremony of the Yoga Day, we made the registration and we made the opening ceremony at the UN. So we made for people, not for me or anyone else. This organization for the people around the globe. Anybody can come. And now we are the only one as a yoga organization became get the accreditation. So we have open body for everybody can come to the UN present and your part and do public events. We made it really open. And I'm not going to be sit forever. I'll put other people who are able to do it. And from all of these people, all are part of our team. So I know and the Bala Yoga Babajanji is going to sing a bhajan with the family, right? And it will be too late if it is late. So please proceed with the bhajan.
Whenever you are ready.
Yeah. Please move on.
योगेन चित्तस्य अधेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोतं योपाकरोतं प्रबलं मुनीनां योपाकरोतं प्रबलं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिर्प्रणतोऽस्मि पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिर्प्रणतोऽस्मि पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिर्प्रणतोऽस्मि गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गणेश वरदा मां पाहि गणेश वरदा मां पाहि गजमुख गणनादा गजमुख गणनादा गणेश वरदां मां पाहि गणेश वरदां Gajanana Gajanana Om Gajavadana Gajanana Om Gajavadana Moshigavahana Gajanana Modagahasta Gajanana Moshigavahana Gajanana Modagahasta Gajanana Moshigavahana Gajanana Modagahasta Gajanana 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 Om Gajavadana Gajanana Om Gajavadana Om Gajavadana Om Gajavadana Om Gajavadana This was specially because today here it is Sangadaha Chaturthi. It is around that Ganesha time, so we thought we'll start with him. And we have to sing for Lord Shiva, because Shiva is both the Lord of Yoga and the Lord of Dance. He is also the Adi Yogi and is also Nataraja. So we will sing one song for him. And Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Shiva 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 Shivaya, Om Namah 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 Shivaya, Yoga 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 Shivaya, Om Namah 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 Shivaya, Om Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Triyambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagni Kalaya Kalagni Rudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha Shriman Mahadeva Deva Devaya Namaha Oh Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho Oh Shambho
Shiva Shambho Swayambho.
Oh Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho
Oh Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho.
Oh Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho
Oh Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho.
Gangadhara Shankara Karunakara Gangadhara Shankara
Karunakara.
Mamava Bhava Sagara Tarake
Mama Baba Sagara Taraka.
Gangadhara Shankara Karunakara Mama Bhava Sagara Taraka Oh Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho Nirguna Parabrahma Swarupa Nirguna Parabrahma
Swarupa.
Gama Gama Buddha Prapancharahita
Gama Gama Buddha Prapancharahita.
Nirguna Parabrahma Swarupa
Nirguna Parabrahma Swarupa.
Gama Gama Buddha Prapancharahita
Gama Gama Buddha Prapancharahita.
Nija Guha Nigida Nidanta Gananda
Nija Guha Nigida Nidanta Gananda.
Ananda Adishaya Akshaya Linga
Ananda Adishaya
Akshaya Linga Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho Shambho Shiva Shambho
Swayambho.
Dimita Dimita Gita Dimigita Taka Thum 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 Gita Dimigita Taka Thum Dimita Dimita Gita Dimigita Taka Thum 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 Gita Dimigita Taka Thum Dimita Dimita Gita Dimigita Taka Thum 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 Gita Dimigita Taka Thum Dimita Dimita Gita Dimigita Taka Thum 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 Gita Dimigita Taka Thum Dimita Dimita Gita Dimigita Taka Thum 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 Gita Dimigita Taka Thum Dimita Dimita Gita Dimigita Taka Thum 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 Gita Dimigita Taka Thum Madanga Munivaran Vandita Isham Sarvadigambara Veshtita Vesham Nitya Niranjana Nitya Natesha Madanga Munibala Bandita Isha Sarvadigambar Veshita Vesha Nitya Niranjana Nitya Nadesha Nitya Niranjana Nitya Nadesha Isha Savesha Savesha Madanga Munibala Bandita Isha Nitya Niranjana Nitya Nadesha Isha Savesha Savesha Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho Shambho Shiva Shambho Swayambho 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 Om Shiva Shiva Shiva.
Wow. What a feast, man. I'm so happy.
I request Devasena just to show her face. She was hiding on the other side. So introducing Devasena to you.
Namaste ji.
Yogashalini Devasena Bhavanani, my Dharma Patni. And you heard my beloved daughter Divyapriya Bhavanani. She is one of the youngest professional yoga members of Indian Yoga Association, having got her yoga instructor qualification and all. So it's very nice that next generation's taking things forward.
Life member, correct?
I'm a life member. She is the professional member. One of the youngest professional members. Her 18th birthday is on 21st. 21st June is her birthday.
Oh my God.
So we were very happy when they announced 21st June. We said it's your birthday. Correct. Nowadays she gets a bit upset. She said, you are so busy on my birthday not to celebrate my birthday. You are with yoga every place.
Indian world is celebrating for her. Because you born in a yoga family as a father and mother and yogis and grandparents as yogis. What else you need? That is the best thing, you know. Nothing can beat that. And we are also celebrating, you know. And see, we are having like a 1 month celebration for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure.
And your son is a karate master.
He is Taekwondo black belt level 2 now. So he is his future will be Taekwondo yoga.
Yoga and sports. He
will be Taekwondo yoga in the future. He's also good in the asanas, very good in the asanas and all, but he will come into it when time comes. He is the junior Madhadapati at our Madham and doing the pujas with me. So he continues the lineage that my father was the 8, I am 9, and then he will be 10 as he continues on that journey. The lineage of the parampara. Guru parampara is the most important. Guru parampara is most important.
Here I put 4 people on the screen, Andaji and TPSG and Vinnamara from the Amity University. TP and Andaji both are in our global council, and because we want to bring a global movement to create a real yogic philosophy. We don't want people are misusing the yogic teaching. Definitely yoga for everybody, but we don't want to lose our history and the beauty of the culture. You know. And I want Vinarmaji to ask a question or comment. You see the way they presented. It's a life, yogic life in a family. You know, you see the beauty, how they're singing, the presenting, and the history of their life. That is a one example good for a global community to notice that one. Vinarmaji, please.
Thank you so much for the wonderful that coordination with that spirituality as well as the Sangeet, we can say, both together. And my blessing to your younger daughter. So I'm very really thankful. So what to ask actually? Everything is covered actually. Everything is covered in a single frame. So, but my question with regarding we are since discussing about the sports and the means yoga. So that as per the practice point of view, very little question I will ask. As a practical point of view, how we can that yoga is sufficient to a part of the sports, and we have to integrate some science behind it, like the knowledge of the biomechanism or bio of the kinesiology. This may be the part of that yoga. Then can we? It's a part of the sports, or that yoga is sufficient to be a part of sports system of medicine.
It's a very valid question,
Yeah.
Sharmaji. And I see you are from Amity University, and Dr. Selvamurthy has been one of my biggest mentors and inspirations in my life. And in fact, tomorrow at our university in Pondicherry, he is giving his talk in the morning at 10:30. And Selvamurthy sir has been one of the greatest inspiring role models. So I'm happy to see you are associated with Amity University. It's a very beautiful, as he used to say, it's not university, it's universe. Amity Universe is how he used to refer to it. Coming to the question, Yogasana on its own has the capacity to be stand alone. It has the capacity. Now, when we want to train people in Yogasana sport, because once it has been announced as a sport by Government of India, it is an official recognition that we have been waiting for many, many decades. And the work of pioneers, there have been pioneers over the last 50 years who have done a lot of work that today we are reaping the benefit. So I think we have to acknowledge the fact that there have been pioneers, their hard work, their karma yoga is today reaping the benefit through such a government recognition. Now, when you have Yogasana as a sport, the next question comes, who will be the Yogasana sport coaches? So then you need special programs to be set up now. We have had our own programs. Now it has to become more official. Like you have NIS Patiala having all the programs, you will start to have Yogasana coaches program. And in fact, the Yoga Certification Board, of which I am a technical committee member, whenever Dileepji starts telling my biodata, I get scared because there are so many things. I'm always afraid I'll miss something. So I don't say anything. I said, I am my living biodata. What I am in front of you is my biodata. Don't look at the past, look at the present moment, what I am today. So in that YCB, we are looking at creating, as we have yoga instructor, yoga teacher, yoga master, different levels, there will be one level for Yogasana sport coach. And in that, a lot of the biomechanics and all these subjects are being put in to be covered in that training. So the coaches will definitely need to get a bit of that to fine tune it as it becomes more recognized as a sport. The second thing that will happen is the income generation for the players, the income generation for the coaches. What will be the system for it? Because till now, all of us who have organized Yogasana sport competitions have spent out of our pocket. I don't think we have ever been able to get any money out of it. People think, oh, you organize a competition, 1,500 competitors came, you made a lot of money. I say, no, I lost a lot of money. Because anybody who's been in the field will know that. Now there's a chance for it to become lucrative. So when it is lucrative, more and more young people will come in. As more and more young people come in, just as today you have the IPL giving an opportunity for so many youngsters, they would have never come into the Indian team. But today, by getting into one of the franchises, suddenly they can come out of poverty. They can come out of some obscure village. In Tamil Nadu, we have that guy from the obscure village. He's suddenly come out. Natarajan. Suddenly he's come out from a village. He didn't have money for cricketing gear. So similarly, you will see a revolution at the grassroots, where from the villages, just as Dhoni came from Ranchi, no cricketer had come out of that area, and suddenly MS Dhoni, and suddenly you have from the villages, not from the big cities. And that is the biggest plus of this movement, that you don't need money for buying to play cricket. I was a combined district cricketer in my childhood. I played under 17, under 19, for Tamil Nadu districts. So I know what it is like, how much money you have to spend. To be a footballer, how much money you have to spend. To be anything, of course, Bose ji, it was nice to hear your story about Kabaddi. Because Kabaddi, again, is one of those native sports. But even that, now what is the beautiful movement that has come with the professional league? Suddenly, people are getting interested. Suddenly, youngsters are coming in. And the more the youngsters come in, the more they will revolutionize this movement. So I think it is a very good one. And Yogasana sport on its own is capable of standing on its own without any other pluses and minuses. But in the professionalism, we are going to have to bring in many, many new aspects, and they will come. They will come. Because how do we learn in life? You do something in life, you get beaten. You do another thing, you get beaten. And from side to side, finally, you learn how to walk straight. And the tough knocks, the school of tough knocks is what life is. Similarly, we will learn. And hopefully, by using the model of sports, native sports like Kabaddi, one of the greatest moments I feel is the movement of Kabaddi because it is a native sport. And similarly, Yogasana. It will be one of those beautiful opportunities to showcase our native talents. So I think the future is bright. The future is bright.
So when I compare my sports days, I go for representing university for Kho. We rarely get support from the university. Yeah, we spend our money. Now it's totally different. Yeah, even 2 times I was able to get a scholarship. I never got it. I fill out the form. I heard I got it, but I never get it. So within 30 years, changes happen in India. You know, and I know the young group of people like Dr. Ananda Bhavananaji and all the people coming to the leadership, it will make a change. So they went through the yogic path. So when we talk to them, they will understand faster. And this is the thing I always push. We don't need too much politics in the yoga field. That you have to always remember that one. We don't want to make it like a regular sports field, so much politics there. We had to remove that part, make everyone be in a harmonious way. I know this is very hard, but I hope.
I was wondering which planet you are living on, Dileepji. Because I don't think there's any field of human beings where politics doesn't come in. Every field of human endeavor is going to be there. But maybe we can show how it can be done in a better way. I think this is what my father's approach was. He said, if you are going to teach yoga to a drug addict, you're going to teach yoga to someone who's not healthy. He said, why not teach it to young people? Why not give them this culture and give them the tools to become a better version of themselves? He said, when you can do all of that, why not this? And in our experience, right from my childhood, I remember my father doing the events, participating in them. Then after a certain point, I stopped participating because whenever I won, there was always a question, is he winning because he's Swamiji's son? So then I said, I cannot give my father a bad name. So I withdrew from participating and became an organizer. So I have seen right from grassroots, and most of the time, I will say 80-90% of the time, the winners will be children from underprivileged background. That is the greatness of Yogasana sport. It is not the high profile people who are going to win. It will be from very underserved, underprivileged society. And so we are creating a social revolution through this. It's not just about, it's very easy because for me, yoga is the most important thing in my life. Only yoga matters, not even my tradition, not me, not my institute, not my tradition, not my association, only yoga. Because for me, yoga is my mother. Yoga is my divine mother. So I'm very passionate. So people say, oh, Yogasana sport is, against yoga. I say that 3 things. So for me, I understand the passion. But what I feel is through this, the social revolution, people who didn't get an opportunity to shine academically, people who didn't get an opportunity to, shine in society because of you know, all the hurdles that are there, they can shine in Yogasana sport. And what an example it will be when we have that social revolution. Such an amazing opportunity we have, but we must not lose it. So many opportunities come to us, but we often let it slip. Hopefully this opportunity, we will not let it slip. Hopefully, we need to be mindful of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice and valuable comments. Very recently, sir, one syllabus that MSc Yogasana Sports, I think somewhere. So very recently, it's one subject come to my end to make the means that subject curriculum. So I have contributed in Yogasana and applied sports psychology. So what are the part of the psychology which is mentioned in our classics in terms of yoga? So where we can do some work for that sports psychology and all. Recently, I have contributed.
I think I mean,
I
we do a lot of things.
I feel along with sports psychology for yoga, we should have yoga psychology for sports. Because the power of yoga psychology, Maharishi Patanjali was the best psychologist in human history. There's never been anybody like him. There will never be anybody. He understood the human condition 100%. And understanding what is the chitta, understanding what are the vrittis, understanding the concepts of the klesha. The klesha is such an important model to understand. And similarly, to understand the conditions like, you know, the Chatur Bhavana, Maitri Karuna Mudito Pekshanam, Sukha Dukka Punya Vishayanam, Bhavana Tah Chitta Prasadanam. Pratipaksha Bhavanam. The best one is Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Today they call it CBT. Original Pratipaksha Bhavanam. We have to reclaim. Pratipaksha Bhavanam is the source. CBT is the modern version. They say old wine in new bottle. This is not wine, but old wisdom, old platinum level wisdom in new plastic bottles.
Correct. I know TP Shashimarji like to make comments of.
Namaskaram. We had a great feast.
Correct.
Where we were talking about the physical exercise of yoga. And then today Swamini was talking about the spiritual part of yoga, Mahamandaleshwar Ramaji. And then now Dr. Anandji made more of logical thoughts in this and created an intellectual aspect of yoga. Then immediately shifted to the feelings and music, which added with all the emotional aspect. And I'm sure when there is song, social aspect will come. I don't think anybody runs without audience. No sports without audience. I think social aspect is always there. Probably yoga you can do in a shut door, indoor activity. But when yoga comes into sports, I'm sure you need a gallery. Then only, as you said, money will come. Otherwise, money will not come. So it's a great thought. From all angles, it has been comprehended. And I'm sure he is a blessed man. Otherwise, the daughter will not be on the longest sunny day, June 21st, which was selected for the Northern Hemisphere.
That credit will go to mother too.
So I'm sure happy birthday and all the blessings for the dear Modo, who shares a very special significance. Because in the Northern Hemisphere part of the world, taking birth on June 21st is something great. And as he mentioned, for Bharata, probably Rama's period, Bharata had to go through Yoga Vasishta, and Rama became enlightened. Otherwise, he was a psychic patient. The first psychological treatment was given by Yoga Vasishta. So I'm sure the son also require, the Rama also require a great treatment. That comes only when you have the belly burning inside with the thirst. Bharata also means the fire, Agni. And that which you can carry inside you with the whole power That is why we say I have the zeal with fire in my belly. Every sportsman has. So I'm seeing, I don't know whether Dileepji and Dr. Anandji and all are either generally we say samadhi, silence, but here it is the sports spirit which is coming out. So you need to have, like in the Sufi meditation, they have beautiful dance and then go to Shavasana. Right? They sweat themselves. So we need to have a physical enjoyment. Probably that enjoyment should come only when your blood is burning inside like a fire. That we have, the Bharatiyas have. If that can be motivated by the dance and the music, otherwise Bharat will not become Bhava Raga Tala. And that is how the Bharata is made. The Ra has to be there with the full of melody, a good framework of musical part. And Bhava should come with all the feelings. Otherwise, the level of enjoyment of any art forms will not come. And I think when you get into Samadhi, you reach into catharsis, the Rejanatalam. When you realize what you said, how can we pick up the village poor fellows where there is a purpose for all these activity which we are doing? Otherwise, Natya becomes only for enjoyment. No, Natya doesn't become for enjoyment. It all have to have the Bharatanatyam with the fire in the belly, with all the Raga Bhava Talam. The Natya comes, and I am sure the harmonious activity of life comes into effect. We also have got a responsibility to support those people who are not cared for long years, who understood the ritual, who understood the spirit of Bharata, where we have not amalgamated with the modernism. And otherwise, Sanatana Dharma doesn't have any meaning. Nitya Yutana and Chirapuratana. Nitya Nutana and Chirapuratana put that together only becomes Sanatana. I think we are reaching close to that, to prove the world that we have an amalgamation of both the new and the old. Otherwise, I'm sure with the sports spirit, yoga will not be taken into the 21st century. I don't say 21st century, third decade of 21st century, because time runs faster than the centuries, earlier centuries. Now we have to talk about the decades. So we have to say 4, 3, 2, 1 is coming now. That's how all the sports runs, right? So March, I think we will achieve it very fast with this leadership and the kind of activity I'm seeing under this umbrella. Pranams.
Here we have Menonji from the Shantigiri ashram, one of the popular ashram in Kerala, and their master I met so many times, and now they are part of our event, 30 days event, and I want to invite Menonji to a few words.
Om Sadruye Sharanam. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I'll start with Sri Ananda Balayogi Bhavnani. Aptly, he quoted Ramana Maharshi when everything we were talking about, the issue was going towards sports, but spiritual enhancement was with them. And rightly he said, Niti Nitityasana, that is Shravana, Manana, and then the getting established in that. Sir, you have come little too late. We had like TPS in his words, Mahamandaleshwar, one lady from Italy. I don't know whether it's listened to her. And she became a living example of that thing. She narrated a story about it. You see, when action comes to you, the reaction to the action which is put in front of you, that makes you what you are. The reaction, she went for honey. somebody brought a big pot of honey. She said, I don't want so much. I want only a small piece in a small glass. Then he said, keep it with you, put it in a small glass of this thing, container, and then use it. But be careful. If the pot in which you are pouring, if it is dirty, that will spoil the entire thing. So when she went to Italy, or Dileepji asked her, particularly what happened when you went to Italy, in India and all that, it is possible that we can take up yoga, etc. Something in Italy, it will be Latin and Greek to the Italians when you take up yoga there. Then explain your mistakes. And I would request in this time, she had written about 15 books. So I would request Dileepji, sir, you please make sure that her writings, they are treasures. It's a treasure trove. We will particularly, there will be things which a yogi will be able to ferret out and find, tell the people of the world, this is what yoga is. From her angle, when I see that, somebody asked her, she said, yoga is such a nonsense, etc., etc. Then she remembered what the honey said told her. You see, that thing, a lot of things are getting posted in your brain as lot of files. To take out the right file at the right time and then brandish it. That is the thing. The masters. Yesterday we talked about some masters who were telling, why don't you keep the spoon in this in a proper way? You have been serving me food for so many times.
Swami Chidananda was telling his disciples.
Chidananda was telling that. That becomes, that is, in a small thing, as you have rightly pointed out, sir, you are doing the small thing. These great people do not see how you are doing a great thing. They see how you are doing a small thing. From there it starts, and from there, in everything, when you do the right thing and then go right way and then go. My guru used to tell me, I am getting annoyed at small things because I never learned to do small things wrongly. I never did it. So these people, I'm taught about Sri Narayana Guru, who's sitting in the next room. If there is a person, if he's just using the matchbox, if the second match is used to light the lamp, he used to call that person here. He would not let anybody use it. Use the second one. The first one you're supposed to do it. You're not careful. So that is a thing. When she did it, when she heard it, she, without unconsciously or in her subconscious, the Shravanam was there and the Mananam was there, and then it was come out when she said, see, yoga is not wrong. The pot I am pouring yoga in, that is wrong. That is why you are not able to get it. She said, that was probably the first thing. We all know Vivekananda went to Sri Ramakrishna, given him a lot of things we know about it. And everybody was asking, I am not seeing a guru like a Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. I said, well, so you are the new Vivekananda. Hundreds and lakhs of people have seen him. Only Vivekananda got it. So this person straight away said, and that lady embraced her and then started weeping. She said, I'm sorry. It is, see, such a word, it's a catch word. It is a word between the guru and his disciple. That word, when you utter, your soul knows what is what. That is what has happened to her. And you are talked about, and that lady used to draw good pictures. And she is not showing it to anybody because people will tell something wrong and all that. I would address her through our Dileepji. that she should draw, because one person who's a film artist, that is art director, called Gangadharan. He was called Kalai Ganga in Tamil old films and all that. He came to the ashram. He got us. You talked about Pratyaksham, Agamam, and Anumanam. And what he had seen was in Pratyaksham. An ordinary man, an art director from film field. He saw something. You sang about Ganesha, and he saw Ganesha there. In the Parnashala, he saw the Ganesha. And then he was knowing only Telugu. He was not able to, straight away took a piece of paper and drew things about the Ganesha. Then he came to me, sir, this is what I saw. This Parnashala looks like that. Then there was a spiritual explanation for that, and all that we got it from Guru and gave him. So that kind of a thing. And I told him that you are a blessed man. Otherwise, how can you put across the thing like this thing? And like that, our Gayatri Devi or Amy Blessio, she had done it. And she would go, I would request him to tell her to go on with that. Even if she's keeping it to herself, it may be used for tomorrow or 100 years later. What is going to be? These are all treasure troves. And TPS sir was talking about her as he named her as a Mahamandaleshwar. And one great person only can see another. He can understand the greatness in people. Only other people can say. And with that, when we are going beyond 3 gunas, I wished that you're from Pondicherry and all that you are there. I wish you refer to Aravindo sir. And he was a person who took the yoga for finding out the supramental light. Not for any other thing, for the elevation. He said that supramental light is a great story where we have no time, possibly a time, because we are about to close down.
Close, very soon.
About to close down. So I'm not going into that. But he left his body only because the supramental light was coming in and his body was not able to was strong enough. And then he wanted it to go elsewhere. And that light will not descend on anybody till he leaves. So the great souls and their sacrifices we will never understand. And that are the yogis, particularly, you're supposed to do all the pujas, etc. for them. With that, the Ashuddhi Kriyas, unless it is, these Ashuddhis are Ashuddhi Chaya, you said. The Ashuddhis are, once when they are removed by the yogic practice, Yama, Niyama, etc., then only the other thing will come. And of course, sports may not have time for it. Sports may not have the opportunity for it. But the people like you, people like Dileepji, will have the time, and it will be their endeavor and their duty to propagate that idea, to make a human being a better human being. And I wish you all the best, sir, in your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Because definitely we all born in a yoga family, so we have the passion, we live in yoga. So that's why I am inviting all of my old friends, because we want to make a better place with in the real lifestyle of yoga, So I am so glad Andabala Yoga Bhavani ji and Devani ji and child daughter came here and bless us the beautiful bhajan and his wisdom. I appreciate, always be happy, be part of your family, For the conclusion, I will invite Dr. Anandaji to do the closing prayer for today. Please.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाम् सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ लोका समस्तं सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।
Thank you, everyone. We have over 400 people are watching this program, and tomorrow we have few professors to share their thoughts and their teachings, and we'll have a beautiful discussion. Please make sure 21 is our UN Day celebration. Of course, we'll remember about our daughter, her birthday, and all the UN NGOs are going to present their part, and the chief of the UN will be present. And final event will be on 30th, and Nagendra ji will be the main speaker, and the Under Secretary from the UN will be a speaker, and some political leaders, Congresswoman Meloni is supposed to be with us, and other people are. So I'll be in touch with you, all of you, and some of the speakers from last 14 years are going to speak in the last part. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night or day, wherever you are. See you tomorrow. Thank you, ji. Thank you, ji.
Thank you. Thank you, Dileepji. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh ji and Harshad Solanji.
Thank you, sir.